Welcome back to No Judges Necessary podcast, where we got the opinions like DC, we're crazy like Gaethje, and we're as high as O'Malley. We're the podcast for fight fans that want to see fists fly and don't want to wait on the judges. I'm your host, Brick, and as always, my cornermen, Nil and Matty P. How we doing, boys?
Yo.
Yo, we out here, we living, we chilling, loving me some UFC being on fucking every Saturday. It's that time of year again where it's like, hey, other sports are coming to an end. Some things are about to start, and the UFC is like, hold the phone. We've been here the whole time.
Yeah, there is no season.
There's no off season, and I love it.
And I think we were going to get straight into some recap, but we should probably give some live reactions to what we just watched, right?
Yeah, we watched
the last round, but y'all saw the whole thing.
Yeah, little BKFC, little bare knuckle fighting. Paige Van Zandt drops to 0-2. That's tough look for her.
Like, it's a different animal, bro. I mean,
yeah,
it really is. 4-ounce gloves.
Both of them.
It's a huge difference, man.
I agree, and it was crazy that like Ostovich just like it seemed like every point in one round, other than the first round where I think Paige got her, like every point it would just be halfway through the round, she just catch her with one and then just put the fury on.
But see, that's the thing. I don't think Paige Van Zandt's best ability in fighting is boxing. So I think this is the wrong move to go into a boxing-only sport. Her best ability in MMA was being weird, being dynamic, throwing out kicks, using submissions. Like,
there was so many times, especially when she was like getting that firefight on her, that she would go to a tie clinch, and you just could tell like she just wanted to throw a knee or like an inside kick so bad.
Yeah, and it's like I just don't think boxing is her best strength. Whereas Ostovich, I kind of think that other than that in her jiu-jitsu, like that's what she's got. Like she doesn't throw very many kicks. Like I just it doesn't smell right. Paige Van Zandt boxing only. I don't see it.
Yeah, and honestly, I think she can make a lot of money, even if she still wants to be involved in fighting.
She can make a lot.
I think she can make a lot of money, like elsewhere, either Instagram, modeling, that kind of thing, or like as an ambassador to the sport, like whether it is
be an octagon girl or the next Megan O'Leary.
Yeah,
Wait,
exactly.
Did she get cut from UFC or did she just leave for bare knuckle boxing?
Her contract was up, and then she signed.
They just didn't re-sign her.
But she probably
they didn't re-sign.
Yeah,
but that's pretty much all I got on those. Let's hop into last week's fight, last week's card. Anything that jumped off the page to you?
Yeah, 7 straight finishes to end the card. That's what jumps off the page to me. Fucking great. This is my kind of card. I've always said it. I want to go to a fight night or watch a fight night, start to finish, where every fight is a finish. Oh, that's absolutely what I wanted. And this one was damn near close.
That's what we're going to do when we go to the fights. We'll just
There was only 2 decisions on this entire fucking card, and I love it. This is my kind of card. Juice to be talking about the recap. A lot of good ones to pick from. Where do you want to start? I mean, talk about bonus money. This is the hardest night of the fucking life for the bonus guys.
My dog Billy Q getting a nice finish. That was big. I like that. I wish it was a little more of a O'Malley type walk off, but especially with Billy Q, I'll take him any way I can get him. So
we called the D-Rod in the distance. We should have went that first round. That was a good one.
Yep.
Yeah, my boy Parsons got folded. Hand up.
Yeah, Triple P got folded. And then I wish I watched our podcast last week before, because I would have taken plus 1,000 Mateos Gamrot by submission. I should have had it.
You called it.
I absolutely
in the first round too.
I think it was him or one of his boys put on like Instagram a picture of the submission and was like, "Hey Jeremy Stevens, how's my ass taste?" They're like something like that, and it's him like doing the Kimura and his booty is like on his mouth, and he's like tapping.
That's a rough look. Like you're getting choked out and you got booty in your face.
I feel like Jeremy Stevens will tweet that too, though.
Yeah,
Jeremy Stevens will just find you in the streets. Like that's kind of the problem.
Yeah,
Jeremy Stevens, like 12 shots after you're knocked out.
Jeremy Stevens, you're not that guy, pal. You're not that guy.
Not that
guy. That's what we've learned. He's not that guy, pal.
He called out for McGregor, though, didn't he?
Yeah, that's not a horrible call out, to be completely honest.
McGregor wouldn't do it, but not a bad idea.
I'd watch that all day. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. McGregor just needs random fucking. He gets the luxury of being the cash cow and getting main events, but he doesn't have the luxury of fighting the elite dudes anymore, or always being one shot away from the title. He needs to realize that he might be getting pay-per-view main events against fucking guys like Hooker and Jeremy Stevens.
Right. And I mean, I'd love it where, especially if we're trying to get back on the McGregor hype train, put in a guy like Stevens who's tough enough to hang around for a little while so McGregor can put on a show, but he's going to get finished by McGregor, you know?
So you're just trying to feed it.
Talk about someone who came back and did their thing. Miesha Tate looks solid, no?
Yeah. Her game looked clean, honestly, and she was really, like, mixing it up well, which I thought was impressive, especially with a first MMA fight back. I feel like a lot of times you see people lean on their strength when they're first fight back. Like, hey, I'm a nice boxer, I'm going to stick with my hands. Or like, I'm a nice wrestler, I'm going to try to get there. And I felt like she really came in with a complete game and with not really showing a ton of ring rust. Obviously, Renault was not the best opponent.
No, and she retired afterwards.
And she retired after. Yeah, exactly. But
what did you think of the fight, Matty P?
I mean, it was pretty much what we thought. I think, you know, Miesha Tate was going to win it. Oh wait, no, she didn't. She got the TKO. I thought she got a decision for some reason.
No, she finished it late.
It was in the third. Oh, didn't the doctor just break?
It was a good stoppage though. She was just putting it on her, and it's like, why do we need to see this for another fucking, minute and a half? Like, good stoppage.
Gotcha. Yeah, no, I mean, she did her thing. I just want to see what she's going to do against someone who's actually, belt hunting and not waiting on a retirement check.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, speaking of the stoppage, what did you guys think of that Amanda Lemos stoppage? Was that right call or not?
If I had money,
you guys know what I'm talking about? Hold up, before we get into it, do you know what I'm talking about?
I think it was a flash knockout. It was perfectly stoppable, but at the same time, if that was a championship level fight, they wouldn't have stopped it. One, and if I had money on the girl who got knocked out, what's her name?
Ruiz.
Yeah, Ruiz. You would have been pissed.
If I had Ruiz, I would be pissed because
I think it was a good stoppage. You got to look at where she was. She was like backing away, defending herself way after the fight had been called, waived. That's where I'm at.
It was right
That's
there.
where I'm at. You don't keep backing away. That's where you like admit like, fuck, I just got knocked. Like she was out of it. That's my take. I think it was a great stoppage.
And honestly, I'm kind of in the fact of, like you said, it at a championship level, they wouldn't call that. But I'm sort of okay with the sport of MMA, and I think it's growing to the fact that, like, we can look past a loss nowadays, you know what I mean? Like, one loss. So, yeah, now you're 10-2. Like, I'd rather you be healthier and saved and take an L and be ready to fight in 3, 4, 6 months than take 12 more punches and be out for a year. Because that'll hurt your career more than it will taking it out.
Yeah. But I mean, then you also look back at fights like Rory McDonald and Robbie Lawler, and you're like,
huh. Yeah. That's a great
It always
point.
could happen.
That's such a great
It always
point.
could happen. And that's the problem. And I think that's where it is the ref's job and the sports job, because these fighters are going to want to go out on their shields. I
think it was a good. I would have probably done the same thing, but I can understand the other side of this one. Like,
oh yeah,
it's right on the line for me, at least.
For sure. And let's hop into the main event. Do we have a new Khabib on our hands?
No,
well,
we don't.
Just looking at, before we do that, I was looking into all of the fights, and there was only 2 decisions.
Yeah.
Only 2.
Yeah, no let in with that. I love that. I think
the main event was all finished. I didn't hear you say that part.
I didn't realize that just now that the entire main card. Yeah, I mean, I said 7 straight to end it, but I didn't put together the fact that, the whole main card would have then been finishes. That's awesome. Islam Makhachev, slow your roll. He's not the next Khabib. No. I think he's a little bit better of a striker, slightly worse of a grappler. But you have to understand where we're coming from. It's like saying that, a lion isn't, or the mountain lion is the apex predator, and then the next animal isn't shit. No. The next animal's still a fucking killer.
That's like it's like saying that like Vladdy Guerrero doesn't hit dingers because he's not Barry Bonds. It's like, no. We're talking about the greatest wrestler and probably the greatest lightweight of all time. He's not doing it on that level yet. But this dude can hit dingers.
He hasn't the opportunity to do it on that level either, you know. Wait till he gets – I mean, when Khabib started getting real competitions like Michael Johnson, Edson Barbosa's, then we were like, oh, okay, this is something else. But, you know, right now, Islam hasn't had any of those guys. You know, he's only had – I mean, who's his toughest fight?
Probably Moises.
No, the guy he lost to in the UFC. He got KO'd in the UFC.
He got sparked by
somebody. He got sparked by somebody, bro. But he looked impressive in this fight. To be able to drown Thiago Moises like that, Moises is tough as fuck and pretty much known for his jiu-jitsu and his black belt ground game.
For sure.
And for Makhachev to just sort of drown him and just like, all right, you know what? By the third and fourth round, you're not going to be able to hang with me on the ground.
And I think that's some part of the issue with the conversations. Like you said, like I think Khabib kind of came up a little unknown. You know, like some people in the real fight game knew him, but like no one really knew him until he started getting those Michael Johnson and Edson Barbosa fights. So there wasn't as much of the hype. This guy showed up and everyone's like, oh, he's new Khabib. So we're just expecting perfection.
Exactly.
I think he's got to take the approach that Khabib started taking later on. When everyone expects your wrestling, they expect not the first shot, not the second. They expect all this chain and constant movement. Khabib reversed that by just slowing it down. And when they put pressure on the leg, just secure a single and work on that one single. Don't try to chain it into something else. Just go for one small movement at a time. It's like put one left forward to then make the next one. You know what I'm saying? Like He slowed it down. I think if Islam can slow it down, he'll have a great career. I think he'll run through the fucking lightweight division.
Probably.
It looked like he was almost taking his time with Moises. Like he never even seemed like he was rushing anything, which is crazy. That it shows the control he has. So, and on the ground with Moises, I mean, who is going to stop Islam? Who can get up and be able to get through that?
I don't know. I saw somebody on Twitter say that Javier Mendez has the easiest job in the world when he's coaching dudes from Dagestan because all he has to do is say stick to father's plan.
Yeah. Stick to father's plan.
That's all he says is stick to father's plan, and it's so funny. You can literally hear him in fights being like, stick to father's plan. They just take him
because they can't understand anything else he's saying.
Yeah.
So they just stick to father. I mean, father's plan has worked pretty fucking well so far.
Yeah, well, I think Khabib is what 5-0 as a coach now.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
You see him on IG. He claims he's never been late as a coach either.
Oh, that was and the coach was grilling.
The video's hilarious, and the coach is
the
like,
times and
you move the time to whatever time you want. Khabib's like, I'm never late, dude. And he's like, because you make your own fucking times, dude. Like he's like, tell him I've never been late as a coach. Like you know the real me. Like he's like Khabib out there. Like,
oh my god, because he said, yeah, practice is now 7:30, so I'm not late.
Late, yeah. He's like, you make your own times and don't tell me you're late. And he's like, no.
But that is the impressive thing. That the last thing I wanted to kind of say on the Islam stuff was just how he was talking about like how Khabib's kind of treated all those fighters, you know, in his post coaching. He's like, dude, we show up and like Khabib rents the cars, Khabib rents the hotels, he's buying all the dinners, like everything's like taken care of, and all you have to do is focus on fighting. He's like, it's unbelievable. Like it's the perfect way to have a fight.
I mean, yeah, shit.
Show up and fight. Everything.
Take away all the distractions. It's like a fight team. It's like an organization when you have like the Super Bowl. They try to take away all the distractions. So all you have to do is focus on the game. It's the same kind of thing.
Yeah, I mean,
crazy.
Obviously, they already have teams and stuff, and they're not like carrying their bags and stuff. But I've always wondered when it would get to like that level. Like MLB players, like they don't wipe their own ass. You know what I mean? Like they got clubbies to do everything. Like.
It'll get there eventually when there's like management and you get that high, but Well, let's get into it. Maybe you could get that high if there was the fucking MMA in the Olympics.
I like this topic. Me and Nil were talking about this a little bit, and we were like, we have to bring it up on the pod. I think we're kind of hitting Matty P with it raw. So
definitely. But it looks like I got some Olympic shit on, so let's get it.
Right.
Okay. So hear this out as a proposal. Obviously, the Olympics is only 2 weeks long, so you couldn't have somebody fight like 4 times in 2 weeks. That wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So you would have eight countries per weight class. So that would be it. And you would have 4 fighters from each country in each weight class. And it would be like a tournament. And they could fight once, they could fight 0 times, they could fight as many as they want. So for an example, the USA for lightweights could have like Cowboy Cerrone, or USA could be Cowboy Cerrone, Eddie Alvarez, Justin Poirier, and Justin Gaethje. And they could decide who's going to fight in the matchup against the other country. And then you win, you move on. And so, I think that's the best way to do it. I think that's the only way
because, Nil brought it up, and I was like, there's no way you can do it because if you send, like, one fighter, like, injuries are going to happen, long fight. You get in a 3-rounder, you can't fight next week. Like, you can't fight.
Right, that's where Justin Gaethje fights the first one and starches the dude from Mexico. Then they move on to fight Brazil, and now it's Oliveira against fucking Chandler in the rematch or some shit.
Right.
And Chandler fights him. And then in the semifinal fight, we're going to bring out Cowboy Cerrone because he's undefeated against whoever's out there.
Right.
And then in the finals,
here's the problem. How does Big Dana get paid?
Huh?
How's Big Dana get paid?
Yeah, that's the problem.
Because all the guys are rocking UFC gear while they're there. There's some fucking Reebok shit. They're gonna get sponsored by. They're gonna make money off something.
Yeah, we gotta have NBC or the Olympics or somebody has to cut a check back to Uncle Dana for sure for this to possibly ever happen. But like in theory, it could be sick.
But even if it wasn't UFC, we'd still watch it.
No matter where the fighters are from, they're gonna be like Dana's guys.
Well, no, they could be from one championship. They could be from Cage Warriors. Like maybe if it's kind of like in theory, it could be like
a lot are going to be signed in the UFC though. So regardless of the country, like the top of the game.
If we're having the top talent go, of course it's going to be
which
UFC
you're going to represent the country in the Olympics. It's always going to be the top. So that's where it's tricky too. It's like okay, Dana's going to lose.
Like these are the 4 fighters we're sending.
Dana would have to do co-sponsor because it's gonna be like half his fighters roster.
Okay, but put that aside.
Even if Dana's not on board,
awesome. It sounds so awesome. I'm trying to think of how to make it work.
I mean, even if Dana's not on board, let's be real. Like obviously we want the top of the top talent, but if Dana's not on board. Just like how the NHL's out on the Olympics, we just don't send the UFC fighters. But now all those up and coming cats that want to go, that like are in Cage Warriors, LFA, like
into the UFC,
right? Correct. Yeah. Now Ray wants a fight. Like he's representing USA. Like let's go.
Yeah, he's on the 170 squad with the 3 other dudes like out there. And like, say you start your guy early, it's like, yo, we're gonna run him back.
Yeah, he could fight twice in a week or 2.
It'll get super strategic, which is what I like about it. It would get hella strategic and like matchups, like striker, grappler, fucking, all that kind of shit. Like,
I think it'd be so electric.
And you have like certain days to submit your guy because you got to make weight or like rough weight.
Would they be 3-rounders or 5-rounders?
They would
I think it'd all have to be 3 until maybe the gold medal.
The gold medal match would be 5 for sure. The gold medal match is 5, and everything else is 3 in order to get there.
Yeah, I think it could be sick, honestly, because I think
and it's like win and move on. It's only 8 teams, and that's it. 8 down to 4, down to 2, like
right. So it'd be 3 matches for each division. I think you could do that, and that's why you send like.
Then you have to do each division. How many fights is that going to be?
Oh, it's going to be a lot of fights, but think about it. You can put on 15 fights in a day with a fight card, so why can't you do the same thing? So what? And it's Olympics, so you don't technically have to have as many divisions. So maybe you have like 5 to 6 male divisions and 3 to 4 women's divisions.
You don't have that many divisions, probably.
So then you're talking
at least to start the first year. Yeah, you probably have 6, 7 divisions total.
Yeah. And it's the Olympics. You don't have to have it in the biggest arena of anything. You can kind of do it like they do wrestling, where there's like there could be multiple cages in an arena and like, hey, first round matchups, like we're fighting these things off. Like,
yeah, there's like an Olympic wrestling channel that just goes on all day. Like they would just have Olympic MMA and it would just be on like all day. Like,
and that'd be so sick. And I think it would be sick because basically I think you would put in a bid, like it would be bidding. You would need some sort of committee that would accept the bids, and basically each country could put in a bid for what weight class they wanted. Now, like a country like the US or Brazil or Russia, probably going to submit for everyone and probably going to get picked for everyone. But then maybe it's like, well, Australia or like Nigeria or one of these countries that like, all right, Ireland is just going to send a lightweight team. You know what I mean? Like they got Connor and they found a couple other lightweights and like we're going to make Patty Pimblett's going to get up to 55, like, you know, or something. You know what I mean? Like England's going to get something together. Like I think that would be cool that like, oh, this one random country is sending one team for like the 170 division. You know what I mean?
Like a Cinderella story every time.
Right, exactly. Like, oh shit, Jamaica's got something, or like,
yeah,
you know, like, oh, well, watch out for like, you know, Nigerian or like French heavyweights. Like France doesn't have anything, but they got like a team of heavyweights.
Yeah.
You know,
and Ngannou and Cyril Gane, like
Ngannou and Cyril Gane coming up here, like that. That would be interesting. I think that would really.
And it's the only way you could do it because I think one guy could fight twice in like a 2-week span. I don't know how much more he could do than that in an MMA fight, and that's why I think you'd have to have like 4 dudes on a team,
right?
And obviously, like I said before, you have to submit it. Like,
yeah, it's 4 guys for 3 fights.
You'd have to have a submission period of when. But I'm saying when you're in the Olympics, you can't just be like
3 days ahead.
And gone
no.
like 10 minutes before the fight.
It's gonna be like 3 days ahead. It'll be like 3 days, 2 or 3 days ahead. You have to submit your fighter so they have the matchup, and then weigh in and boom. But I mean, everyone should be at weight if you're at the Olympics. You know what I mean?
Correct.
It's not like
it'll kind of be like the Ultimate Fighter in a sense,
right? And I think you can get it. It would literally take 3 weeks. That shit would be lit. But I think we've gone on long enough on that. Nil, we got a newcomer this week.
I do have a newcomer. This one is very interesting. This newcomer that I have. This guy's 36 years old. He is 34-9. Eric Little Lee Wisely.
He's not a newcomer.
Not that new.
No, he's not. But his last loss was in 2014.
Okay.
In Bellator.
This is last fight.
He beat Austin Hubbard by unanimous decision.
Okay.
And he's beaten a lot of like no names, but a decent amount of finishes. Leg strikes, punches, triangle armbar, reverse triangle, KO. Like 34-9. He hasn't lost in a long time. He lost to Oliveira. Oh, he was in the UFC at one point. He had a 2-fight UFC L streak. Charles Oliveira on a calf slicer, and then he lost to Jason Young on a split decision in 2012 and got the boot.
Hard.
That's rough.
That's rough, dude.
So Nilly's comeback of the week, I guess.
I don't know. I just kind of like
Came
again.
across
This
this
whole
cat,
newcomer thing is kind of like people we don't know about that I think should get some shine. And a lot of times I try to lean towards young dudes that can like maybe, but like. This is also a guy that kind of fits the wheelhouse.
Hey, I don't hate it. You know, give him some shine.
Yeah,
Eric
he needs
Wisely.
Eric Wisely. Let's get him a fucking fight somehow. Like,
Let's get him back.
34-9, bro. Like, come on, someone get him a look somewhere. He's been in Bellator and fucking UFC.
Oh shoot! I realized the computer is not plugged in. Hold on.
He's had. All right, listen to this for a rough stretch. In combination. He's had 4 fights total in UFC and Bellator. He is 1-3, and he got cut from them shits. How
That's
fucked
a rough
is that?
go.
He went 1-1 and 0-2, and you get booted from both on a 2-fight deal. I mean, maybe he's just doing what I said. It kind of looks like it.
Right.
He signs 2 to 3 fight deals with like a lot of promotions. I kind of like that.
Well, but he's a newcomer, so maybe it's not the best idea.
Yeah, but I mean, shit, at this point it probably is.
Right.
But yeah, that's what I got. Are we hopping into this pre-fight diaries, or we got anything else?
One last new segment.
Oh, Lord.
We got some fan questions.
Oh, jeez.
So went to Twitter, and we got a few DMs and some submissions for some questions that they wanted answered. So let's see what we got here. First one, who will be the next double champ in 2 different weight classes?
Ooh, that's a good question.
Oh, Khamzat Chimaev, 170 and 185.
Ooh, that's interesting.
Khamzat, wait for it.
Sean O'Malley, 25 and 35.
Oh, shit.
Oh,
Let me think.
that's a good question, yo. Fuck.
Oh, man. Because
You
Usman's
think
not going
Cyril
to
Gahn
die,
can
right?
make 205?
Maybe.
Yo, Matty P, could Cyril Gahn make 205?
Hell no. That
All right,
guy's
so no.
looks like
Oh,
a
John
rock.
Blachowicz moves up to heavyweight? Is
I
that a
don't
potential
know.
one?
I mean, he could move up, but I don't know if he could get it.
No,
Like,
I think whoever it's going to be is like not even a champ yet, I think it's somebody like you're saying, Brick,
Yeah.
like someone like let me think. I can't even get a name. Who do I think?
Mike Mesa. 55 and 70.
rough.
It's going to be like 45 and 35 or 45 and 55. Those are like the most realistic.
Yeah,
Right.
I'm going my boy Max. Let's go. He's gonna get the belt back and he's gonna take over 55.
Damn.
I can see it being a 45er.
I can see it.
And I think he'll get a good matchup. Maybe he'll get a Charles Oliveira rematch because they fought before. So if he gets the belt against Volk or the winner of Volk and Bryan, and then he goes up and rematches Charles, bam, bam, double champ Max, my boy right here. Let's go.
I like it. That's actually not. I think we got 3 decent answers.
Not the most I've ever seen.
Next question. Is McGregor still good for the UFC? Just more than just money, does him still fighting help or hurt the sport as a whole?
It helps the sport, bro. You can't sit here and fucking tell me that 2.9 million eyeballs on a random Saturday on fucking July 10th is not good for the sport. I don't give a fuck. Like McGregor said, you don't get Stephen A without the Mac G. Like, it's true. You don't get all these random no-shows and newbies and people who never watch the sport.
Well, it's like how many followers did Dustin get? How many followers did Ty get? And Sean O'Malley.
Right.
Being
Like, everyone just started booming. It's the biggest spectacle that the sport has. It's definitely good. Now, like I said a little bit ago, do I think he's going to fight the top 3 of every division? No, but he's probably going to fight like the bottom, like
number 4, number 5,
or even like 5 to like 10, somewhere in that range. But guess what? He's still the cash cow. He's still going to be the main event. I don't give a fuck. Even if there's a title fight, I really don't care. I'd rather watch McGregor RDA main event than I would fucking then and have like the Brandon Moreno take on like Alex Perez as the co-main event.
Right.
I'd much rather that.
And as far as it being like good
you.
for the sport, it's one of those things that like people, I can see some casual fans who don't entirely understand how the UFC works, where they're like, all right, McGregor's losing, but he's always the main event. Like, isn't that taking a main event slot away from someone who deserves it? And as far as I'm concerned, fighting under a McGregor card,
on McGregor card than a main.
Exactly. Even if you're the 5th fight on a McGregor card, you're going to get more eyeballs than if you get your own main event.
Yep.
And that's just a fact. So
we're on the same page
like
on
that.
One.
And then quick one, is O'Malley back? Do you see him as a future champion?
He never left.
Yeah, he's undefeated.
Well, he's not undefeated.
I mean, I was out on him because of the way he handled it, but now I'm starting to get on the train of y'all with he was trolling us. Because the way he's come back and won and like handled these fights and just like hearing his interviews with Pat McAfee and how his mentals seem, like, yeah, I think he was trolling the fuck out of us. And I was big wrong. I'll admit it. I still think he has the best striking in the UFC. I've said it for a while. I don't know if
he needs to fight someone
we'll see how that holds up. He needs to fight a wrestler. He should fight Frankie Edgar. And if he KOs Frankie Edgar clean, then it's like, all right, I'm like, yeah.
Now he's in the top heat. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But they're
he
not.
Needs a big time wrestler who
they're going to walk him in. They're not going to give
him.
He
needs a wrestler who's not scared of his fucking flashiness. You know what I mean?
Right.
Don't give him one of these guys who just only wrestles, because then it's too predictable, and this cat will pick him apart, and it'll be a bloody mess. We don't need that.
Well, who else is? Let me look at
what I'm still waiting on for O'Malley, honestly, though, is I'm waiting for him to just get that slick sub. He's about to get somebody on a slick sub, because everyone's forgetting that he has elite jiu-jitsu. Like, that's what he did for 2 years. He was suspended, and he just got – I mean, his jiu-jitsu was already good, but then he was just in tournaments. He was just submitting, like, top-level jiu-jitsu guys. Like,
I got a good matchup for him.
Who's that?
I think Jimmy Rivera.
Interesting.
That's a good test.
Huh. I like that. Rivera's got some power. Not going to be scared of this young guy with the hype. Yeah, that's actually a great fight for him. See, that's kind of what I'm saying. He needs a guy like that. Like, I feel like the last few guys, it's been like the hype of O'Malley is going to scare this fucking fighter.
Right.
Where now he needs a guy that's not going to give a shit about his hype and come here to fucking actually tactically pick him apart.
Jimmy Rivera, he's ranked number 12. I think if he wins that, he'll be in the back end, top 15, and start really.
Yeah, and I think that's a good jumping spot where it's like he's wanted to launch himself into like the top 10 or 5 probably too quick. But that's a good spot at 12 where if you get a highlight knockout of Jimmy Rivera, that's where you can call out number 7 and make a jump.
And I think if you're in the camp of O'Malley, the highlight knockout's very real and like very real potential in that fight.
Oh, yeah.
So I'd be excited if I'm in that camp. But next question before we just...
Last fan question. Tim from Meffa, Mass. wants to know, who is the greatest fighter of all time from Massachusetts?
Isn't Frank Mir from Massachusetts?
Is Frank Mir?
Let me
that was not who I had in mind.
Let me get a search on this. Frank Mir. I'm pretty sure Frank Mir's from Massachusetts.
I think the first thought that came to my mind is the most legendary of the game got to be Joe Lozon. Yeah. But I think the best fighter might be Rob Font.
But he's from there, right? For sure?
Yeah, he's from Mass.
Yeah, you got to get to Joe Lozon right now. But, yeah, I think Rob Font is coming for that.
Right. I thought Cal Cater was going to be right there. We'll see.
You can't give up on Cal Cater.
No, he just trained in Boston for a stint.
Yeah,
he just
lived in Boston for a bit. But he's not from there.
What about Kenny Florian?
Ooh, Kenny Florian.
And he was a champ.
Wasn't one of the Teixeiras from Boston as well?
Let's look at MMA fighters from Massachusetts.
Let's see who we got. We got Randy Costa,
Manny Bermudez, Charles Rosa. It's a weak list. No offense, guys.
Yeah, I think it's going to be
Bochniak.
Like, other than the legendary, other than Florian and Lozon, I think the list is pretty much who's in the. It comes down to Cater, Costa, Randy Costa, and Rob Font. Like, take your pick there because I think all three of them are extremely talented at different points in their career.
And you can never count out Joe Lozon. I swear to God, he's lost me so much money.
Mm-hmm. He's made me a lot of money too because I just always. I just blindly bet on him being like, "Hey, he's a Boston fuck," and like he's never out of a fight.
Never. I learned my lesson.
Torres from Fall River.
Ooh, Tisha Torres.
Females wise, gotta throw it out. I'm just trying to think of people from.
I'm actually very excited
Castro.
about
Who the fuck else is from Fall River and that shit?
Charles Rosa.
Yeah, no. Anyways, yeah. Keep going.
I think that is last question, which is basically just a joke. Were you hard when Greg Hardy went to sleep?
I was excited. I'll tell you that.
I was rock hard.
Yeah, that was the moment of the night for me.
For sure. And on that note, let's get into some pre-fight diaries. I think we got a banger of a card on our hands.
We do.
This is a top to bottom. There's almost not a bad fight on this card.
11 fights, too. I like this.
Yeah.
I want the UFC to put out 0 weekends off, 10 fights, Wednesday night fights if you have to, and 10 fights rather than 14.
Yeah, if you got to get 14, 15, 16 fights off, give us a 6. Give us a 6 card.
What I just said?
You're
what I said?
No, he's out on the long cards, right?
I like the long cards.
Really?
I don't split it up into Wednesday, in my eyes, because it's like it'll take away from the Saturday. They're trying to make Saturdays feel like football Sunday, and how do you do that? You got a full day of fights.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know.
I mean, I guess.
It's
when you
sometimes
put it like that, fam.
Right. And I mean, I feel like when I'm watching it, I don't really get mad. I think it all depends on the card. If we get a card like last weekend where there was 11 out of 13 finishes, I love give me fucking 73 of those.
Well, I think when there's like a Dana White Contender Series or there's something or tough, it'll hold you over. I think if Dana White keeps creating those types of things, we'll be all right. But
yeah, I think it's just sometimes easier.
If I get a 6 or 8 fight or 6 or 7 or 8 fight card on Saturday, I'm gonna be like,
no. I think you got to keep it at least 10 or 11 minimum on Saturday, but I think that's about the sweet spot. Like this is nice, like a nice 11 fight card. I think that's the money spot.
Yeah, and this card's I love this card.
I really do too.
If fight get dropped, the Aspen Ladd.
Yeah, the co-main event.
Aspen Ladd, Macy Chase on
Aspen Ladd.
That's gonna be a good fight.
Yep.
All right, but let's hop into the first one, fellas. We got Diana Belbita, 13-6. What country is that? Romania. Taking on Hannah Goldie, 5-1 out of USA. This is an interesting fight to me. I don't know much about Belbita, but Hannah Goldie is absolutely shredded.
Yeah.
We're supposed to fight Loma and is just very muscular, and I think her strength is going to win this fight.
I just looked up Hannah Goldie and to see like her Sure Dog and OnlyFans popped up first.
Yeah.
She's friends with Kendra Lust, so that might explain shit.
I can't even find her on.
Easier to find her on OnlyFans.
No.
I can't even.
That's kind of what I was thinking.
Like, I did hear about Hannah Goldie. She's obviously a prospect that people have been talking about. I was excited for that fight that was supposed to happen with Loma, but I'm like, if Maddie P can only find her on OnlyFans, when you're fighting some tough Romanian chick who obviously 13-6, has had some losses. I'm not saying can't be beat, but
has she been around?
I don't know. Yeah, she's I think this is her 4th fight in the UFC, I believe.
No, it's her 2nd. She lost both of them.
Oh, she lost both in the UFC. Oh yeah, she came in on a 4-fight winning streak in her amateur career. But Molly McCann decision.
I got no clue.
And then got caught by
Joshua.
Joshua in an armbar. So those aren't the worst losses in the world. So I just feel like this is something that everybody's gonna be on Hannah Goldie because I hope you're not paying $5.99 to see her tonight, but I think some people who might just blindly bet on her because of that, and I think it could be a tough night for her.
My question is whether or not she can fight, but she's shredded though.
Oh yeah,
I think she's gonna have
fits the build for sure.
I think she's gonna have a clear strength advantage, and I think that's gonna win the fight. But if she gets worked, I would not be surprised. What does Vegas have the odds? We rocking OnlyFans or no fans?
Wow,
I'm rocking this.
Dead pick'em to start the night. Barstool Sportsbook has it at -112 both ways. -112, -112. Pick them as you may.
I'm not.
I'm not either.
I don't know which way to go.
I'm not touching this fight, just like I won't buy the OnlyFans.
Fair.
Next fight?
Next fight.
We got Sijara Eubanks 6-6 out of the USA, and she is taking on Elise Reed 4-0 out of USA in the female 125 division. Matty P, you got anything on this fight?
Sijara was going to fight Priscilla Correa.
Eubanks is going to win.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
No, absolutely not.
No,
I'm kind of with Matty P on this. I think this is way too tough of a debut. Sijara Eubanks she's that fighter that everyone always counts out, and it's just like, throw her to whoever. And I mean, if you're legit, you'll beat Sijara Eubanks. That's why she got 6 losses. But if you're not ready for the shits, you're gonna lose, and that's why she got 6 dubs here. Like, there's a reason for both. Like, she's no tough out.
No disrespect, but the record sounds like a football team, bro. And I'm not picking that. I can't. Now, maybe backs against the wall. This is week 13. She's got to make a run. Maybe this is where she's at mentally, but I'm taking Elise Reed.
I know how
story. We need 125ers to be undefeated.
Yeah, I know how Nil's mind works on odds. And he's going to be bigger in on Elise Reed because she's a plus 285 underdog. Minus 400 on Sijara Eubanks.
Yeah.
I will say Sijara is usually either a pick'em or an underdog in most of her fights.
She's the big
so
dog.
I don't know about her.
I'm completely out on Eubanks. I just think Elise Reed in this fight, I smell 4-0, someone who kind of looks awkward and built for MMA, and just with the belt, I'm Elise Reed all day in this fight.
I hope you're right because I'm going to take that. I don't know much about it, but now that I see the odds, I don't want to touch anywhere.
Yeah, you can't put in Eubanks at.
If I'm to bet this fight, which there's a good chance I don't, but I would definitely pick Reed. But I love Reed as just like a pick 'em on like the whole thing.
I feel it. Next fight.
We got Julio Arce, 16-4 out of the USA in the men's 135 division, fighting Andre Ewell, 17-7. I feel like this is a good nickname matchup, is it?
Let's see. We
No,
got
Mr. Highlight, Andre Ewell. That doesn't really, no. Julio Arce, no nickname. All right,
nickname.
Horrible
nickname matchup.
Let's see if the fight's horrible or good. What do we got, fellas?
I honestly, I don't know why. I'm big out on Andre Ewell. I don't know what it is. I'm just out. Like, it seems like anytime this cat, like, he must have signed too long of a fight deal. I think he signed like a 5-fight contract. So, like, they give him a good fighter, he loses, then they throw him like 2 random trash bags, he might catch a dub or 2, and then like they try to give him someone half legit again, and then he takes an L. Like, I'm out on him. You're calling yourself Mr. Highlight, which I think is a bad nickname, unless you're truly Mr. Highlight. Like, if you're someone like Deion Sanders type shit, like, okay, you showed me the highlight reel and you Mr. Highlight, fine. But I haven't seen Andre Ewell's highlight reel, and I don't need to watch it. So I'm taking ours.
Ours lost a close fight to Hakeem Dawodu, so that's why I'm giving him props.
Right.
Unfortunately,
that's mainly why I'm giving him the edge over it for. And the odds showing it.
I hate to say it, but I think this is going to be a wrestle fuck from Julio Arce. And it's going to be one of those Andre Ewell gets up at the end of the 3rd round and, like, looks pissed. And it's like, fuck, I could have, like, done more or something. Like, I just don't see this going well for him. I think he's going to get wrestle fuck unanimous. Julio Arce.
Yeah, I could see it.
I really do. Like, I feel like Ewell struggles with wrestlers. Arce going to put the pace, let him wear himself out, and just fucking bam.
Yeah, and Vegas is agreeing minus 200 on Arce, plus 160 for Ewell.
Yep.
Next fight.
Unfortunately, I sort of think the same thing's going to happen. We got Mickey Gall, 6-3 in the men's 170 division, taking on my boy, Sugar-Free Jordan Williams, 9-4 out of the USA. I call him Sugar-Free because he's diabetic. I don't think he has a nickname, but that should definitely be his nickname, Sugar-Free Jordan Williams. I think he's interesting. He doesn't cut weight, so that's very interesting part of his fight. Like, I think fights at like 165 or some shit. So I don't know what's going on there, but we'll see how it pays out. Like he kind of has a size advantage.
I think Mickey Gall's got this one in the bag.
I'm with you. I think it's going to be a wrestle fuck again. He's going to dominate Jordan Williams.
Yeah, I'm kind of with you. We were on the whole sugar-free thing. I like that, like his whole story and everything. I think this is a horrible matchup for him.
And Mickey Gall proved his striking in that Mike Perry fight. He proved his striking's up. It's at par with some UFC guys.
Williams got some power, and not putting weight and being able to move and be agile has some advantages. And that's what makes this cat fucking hella interesting.
That's the only thing that scares me, because what I'm rooting for it to be the best possible, like most entertaining fight, is Mickey Gall brings that striking he had in the Mike Perry fight back into this Jordan Williams fight. And then we see if like the insanity of Mickey Gall versus the power of Jordan Williams, like we see that toe to toe. That's going to be the most entertaining fight we can get. But I think Mickey Gall is going to probably take, if he's smart, he's going to take this to the ground.
The more I see this,
he's probably going to dominate.
The more I see this fight, I'm kind of thinking Mickey Gall by submission is a lock.
Interesting.
I'm kind of thinking that it's going to be a domination rear naked choke. If we could bet the actual submission, I think it's going to be a rear naked choke. He's going to get to the point where he gives up his back after he's tired, getting beaten up. Bam. Mickey Gall loves the rear naked choke. It's going to sink right in. Done. I like Jordan Williams a lot.
Mickey Gall is already a plus 145 underdog just on the money line. Jordan Williams is minus 182.
I'm big.
Okay. What is him by submission? You can't bet the type of submission, right?
No, but Mickey Gall by submission is plus 450.
Yo, plus 450. Mickey Gall by submission, baby. I'm telling you. Hold on, let me pull up the record. How many subs does he have? Isn't he a sub guy? He wants to come out to, hey, Mickey, you're so fine, but they won't let him. They think it's too stupid. But they've let Ty come out like Spice Girls.
No, he's already walked out. Yo, he's already walked out like 5 times.
He's won by rear naked. Oh my God! All his wins are by rear naked choke.
5 of his 6
wins are by rear naked choke.
I'm eating this up. I'm taking that all day.
450. That's juicy on the Barstool Sportsbook. I like. Well, next fight.
Yo, this one hella interesting. We got Ian the Hurricane Heinisch 14-4 out of the USA in the men's 185 division, taking on Nasruddin Imavov 9-3 out of France. Crazy story on Heinisch. We've said it before, but just give quicker backstory on it. Dude was selling pills, got put in prison, fled the country and went to like Spain, was in prison in Spain, picked up a fucking Bible in the Spanish dictionary, learned Spanish and started boxing. And then now pretty much here he is. Long story short. So you got to love the story from Ian Heinisch. It's crazy. But he can also fight. That's what's kind of impressive. Now, his last fight, I think, was Kelvin Gastelum. It was maybe a little bit too much step up for him, but he can still bring it. I think the wrestling was a little too much. Yeah, he lost unanimous to Gastelum was his last fight.
I definitely have Heinisch in this fight all day.
Yeah, I think this is no disrespect to Imavov. I think he's a well-rounded fighter who tends to lean on his wrestling, but I think this is stay-at-home Kelvin Gastelum. And so if he just got unanimous by Gastelum and he's fighting like dollar brand Gastelum, I think Heinisch is going to walk right through him.
Yeah, I hate how much we're fucking – this is honestly terrifying me because when we started agreeing this much –
yeah.
When we start agreeing this much, like we're going to –
No, but the further we get up, we're going to definitely disagree.
Yeah, maybe we're just getting locked in. But I agree. And Ian Heinisch, minus 155.
What is he by KO? Just
by KO. Let's see here.
Yeah, I think he's got a big ability to KO him. If he can take the center and force Imavov to take awkward shots and make them predictable, I think his KO rises to like 90%.
Plus, I think these are 325. That's some pretty juicy money.
It might be too juicy. I was hoping it was
I'll go inside the distance to keep it safe.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that is just win by finish.
Oh, I thought you said knockout.
Oh, knockout. Sorry,
Yeah.
that's plus 450. By knockout or TKO is plus 450. So I don't know because
it just smells like an Ian Heinisch finish to me. It really does.
Yeah, I could see it because I almost think on the flip side, if it gets deep into waters, I could see where Imavov could start having some success late.
The Russian sniper Imavov fighting or the fucking France.
He was born in Dagestan, but he fights out of France.
But he lost to Phil Hawes. He beat Jordan Williams unanimous. Oh, so maybe he will fucking ground and pound.
You know, he's got a little more hands and like a little more of aggressive game than like the strict Dagestani wrestling. Like he's still a wrestling.
So maybe
base, but
this
it's a
isn't
little more
really that
aggressive.
big of a step down. The more I'm looking at it,
I just think it's too
was
big
I
of a
off on that
spot for
take?
him.
Is this a big step down?
No, it's an up and coming fighter. I think it's a little. It might be a little too bright lights for Imavov. Like honestly, like I think you were pretty spot on with that. Where like I think Heinisch is getting a little disrespect. Not disrespect because like he's lost his fights, he's won his fights. Like he maybe could get a bigger name, but I think this is a pretty fair fight. But I think it's also a good spot for him to say like, no, I'm still like at the big boy table. Like don't forget about me.
Yeah. What do you think on this fight, Matty P?
I got Heinisch all
All
day.
right.
But I don't know. I was going to bet on it, but I don't know if I will now. I feel like this could be the one that messes me up.
Yeah, I'm starting to smell those vibes. The more I was like all in on like hammering Heinisch, and then I'm like,
Right.
Which
Now
gets
look
me
at
to
their
the
size.
fight.
This Imanov guy is like 6'2", and it says Heinisch is like 5'9".
Is he really that small?
I don't know. Let me look. I gotta look into that a little more because that's what it said right there. No, this one says 5'11". Okay, never mind.
Okay.
Okay, we're all right. I don't know why that made a difference to me.
There's 3 for Imavov I'm looking at.
Interesting.
So we're getting all sorts of different heights.
Right. Yeah, this I love how we all went from like hammer, we love Heinisch to like, yeah, I don't know.
11 versus 6'3". Now fuck that. I'm taking Heinisch.
Big fact.
I still will
next
take
fight that I'm gonna start saying, I don't know. We got Punahele Soriano 8-0 at the USA in the men's 185 division again, taking on Brendan Allen 15-4. This is your lock?
My lock. It's Brendan Allen.
What, Soriano?
Brendan Allen.
Let's go. I'm in on
Submission.
this. I'm not on the Soriano hype
yo.
train.
No,
I ain't on this
outta here.
Soriano. Everyone's on this. Soriano's the next fucking up and comer. He's this guy. Not so fast. All in, bro.
Brendan Allen is the real
All
fucking deal.
I
Brendan Allen.
I hate you. I fucking
Brendan
hate
Allen's
people
gonna be a
who say
top 10.
all in, bro. I hate
Brendan
people
Allen's
like
gonna
that.
get top
No.
10. No
I'm
doubt.
with you, bro.
Not so fast.
No doubt.
Nope. Pull it
Look
up,
at the
baby.
names on his resume already.
Drop bombs, undefeated, bro. Got hands. We coming for it. First round finish. Punahele Soriano.
It's like it'll be a second fight.
It's supposed to be the next big thing. Come through. Fucking big Serbian dude. European kickboxer. Ain't shit, bro.
Yeah, but he didn't have the same experience that Brandon Allen has.
Well, Brandon Allen
That's
ain't
the thing.
shit.
That's
dog.
everyone says Brandon Allen ain't shit, and he looks. It's because he just looks like a regular white guy. He kind of looks like me, like if I was shaved. Like,
Honestly, it's because I bet against him like his last 3 fights, and he's fucked me. And now I'm.
but that's the
betting
thing
against
is,
him again.
he's
and I'm
beaten
all
Kevin
in it.
Holland.
I'm all
He's
in it
beaten
hating
Tom
him.
Breeze. He's beaten Kyle Dawkins. Beaten Carl Roberson. He did lose to Sean Strickland, so it's like I'm not saying this guy's a title contender yet. I think this guy's legit.
He's beaten a whole bunch of 78s overall.
And he's only 25. Brendan Allen's only 25.
91.
25.
And so we coming in here, and that's what I'm banking on.
Yeah, and his potential will be earned when he gets this lesson. After this lesson.
And that's maybe a very fair argument, but that's what I got in this fight. I'm taking I don't think Brandon Allen's better than like an 80 overall. And I could see a world where Puna starches someone who's like an 80 overall.
I actually love that we're split on this because it is a dead pickup. -112, -112.
That's so disrespectful to Brendan Allen. It's ridiculous.
Yo, we're putting that spin on this saying, you guys just see an 8-0 and you're like, fuck that, the hype ain't real. And you guys are just expecting that.
No, because fighting there's multiple dimensions to fighting. If it goes to the ground, it's over. It's the world of Brendan Allen. If it goes near the ground.
No, isn't he a training partner of Troy Worthen? If he is, then I'll bet on him.
Yeah, he is. Brendan Allen's been training out at what's it called?
Stanford. All right, so for that, I'll ride with him.
Oh no, you already picked. You're with
No, you're out. You're out. You're on the pony. You're on the pony train. Get out. We don't want you. We're all in.
Oh my God.
All in now.
I'm all in, bro. I'm all in. All right. Now for the main event of the evening. Twitter's main event. Our main event.
We got Adrian Yanez, 13-3 out of USA, representing Reese's.
No, Dr. Pepper.
He's representing Dr. Pepper.
Get this shit straight.
Okay, in the men's
very important
division, and he's fighting Reese's boy Randy Costa, 6-1 out of the USA, also part of New England Cartel. What do we got in this fight?
I don't know who's gonna win this. I saw the odds already. I saw the odds, and it's ridiculous for Yanez. And I'm like, I thought it was closer.
Really?
I thought you would pick him.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense if you want to be honest. Like, I don't really – I'm more interested to see the outcome of this fight than to pick a side. But I think Giannis is probably a big favorite.
Yeah.
The wealth of experience, 13-3 in all these knockouts. The dude's 6-1. He's got double the amount of fights of him. It's hard to like.
All right. I just want to stop us for a second. Before we break down this whole fight, let's actually talk about the real fight. What are you taking? Reese's or Dr. Pepper? You can only have one. You have to give up the other one for the rest of your life. It's out.
Bro,
Reese's.
Someone said it today. Dr. Pepper tastes like a bad birthday party.
Yeah, poor people birthday party.
Poor people birthday
I'm
party.
Reese's. I don't think I could give up Reese's. Like, I like Dr. Pepper. It's fine.
I'm picking Reese's for the rest of my life.
That's not even close, dude. That's literally not even an argument. Like, I'm not even thinking twice, bro.
Like, if I'm thirsty on a hot summer day, I'll pick
I'd rather have water than Dr. Pepper, bro.
Honestly. Like, I like Dr. Pepper because, like, I never have it. And then it's, like, once every year or so, I'm just, like someone will order one and I'll be like, you know what? Like, or, like, someone will grab one at the store or something. And it's like, oh, this is good. Like, fine. But, like, Reese's, that needs to be in the rotation, like, on a reg. But let's get back into the fight. I do see how Yanez could be the favorite, obviously, with the wealth of experience, but I thought it was going to be way closer on the odds.
I think he's got clear kickboxing as well.
I don't know. Costa's striking has continued to look better. And, like, being such a young and up-and-coming fighter, like, you almost expect improvement each fight. And I think if he takes that next step, I think he's right on the level with Yanez. Like, and I am a fan of Yanez, but I always ride with New England Cartel. So, like, I have to plant my flag somewhere, and I'm taking Reese's and I'm taking Costa. Like,
so he's checked the two boxes. He's checked the Reese's box, and he checked the New England Cartel box. What are you gonna do?
Yeah, you're already set.
And he retweets me. Yanez only checks the box of he retweets me.
Yanez.
Yeah, I'm taking Yanez all day. I think this is gonna be a close fight, and then there's the point where it switches and he starts to take over and puts it on him, and we get a TKO.
I feel that, but I feel
up
like
against the fence, couple body shots, kick, and like he might be out on his feet, maybe not. Dude steps in, the guy's like, "What the fuck?" Like, I could so smell it.
I could see that, but I also feel like maybe this.
You're right.
This is absolute blind like fandom, but I feel like each time the New England Cartel boys get that they get that first like quote unquote big name where it's like a hype fight, but it's not like a top 10 or 5 fight. They always are an underdog, and they always like put on a show and like, oh fuck, they're here. Cal Cater win right before the AFC Championship. Rob Font versus who was it? Remind me. He had that walk-off knockout, and then he
Thomas Almeida.
Against Thomas Almeida, exactly. Like, that was that first, like, oh, shit, this is a name. Like, everyone's looking out for that fight. He was underdog against Almeida. Sparked him. Go. Like, I just am getting that feeling again that Costa's going to be that next one. And you're going to get that Boston dickhead on the mic. He's going to be like, fucking shout out Reese's. Let's fucking go, Ked. Like, let's fucking go Sox, Ked. Like, you know,
No.
that's
No.
gonna be the,
No, I
that's gonna
don't.
happen.
No. I don't. No.
Man, I gotta lean Giannis too. But
yeah. No, we're taking Giannis all day in this fight, bro.
Nah, give me Randy Costa plus 175.
I
Love it.
Right, I'll bet you personally on this fight, I think Giannis turns him into a body bag.
All right.
Anyway,
Case of Dr. Pepper versus a case of Reese's.
all right, I don't like Dr. Pepper. Switch up the drinks.
But you're betting Giannis. You made this bet, sleep in it.
I didn't sign up for all this Twitter shit. I just said Giannis is going to turn Randy Costa into a heavy bag. And no disrespect to Costa, I think he's good. I just think Adrian Giannis is a little bit better, and it's going to wear on him throughout the course of the fight. And I'm talking a late second round finish.
All I know is if they're not tweeting in between rounds, I'm out. Like, we seriously need them like tweeting him from live from their corners. Because this fight is for Twitter. But
it is.
I think we've gone long enough on it.
I'm sure we got more fights. Let's go. We got Macy Barber 8-2 out of the USA, taking on Miranda Maverick 9-2, also out of the USA in the women's 125 division. Fellas, we got anything on this fight?
I'm actually excited for this fight. These are two very young prospects that I'm very hype on. And it's weird where I'm at because I started way more hyped on Macy Barber just off the jump. The second I saw her, I was like, this chick's about to be a champ. And then I've kind of cooled off, but not to the fact that I'm out. I think just like she's got some work to go on her game, you know? And she did show a progression in her last fight. I think she was a little better. But Miranda Maverick on the other side, I thought she kind of fit the bill, but I was like, she doesn't quite have the skills and stuff, and I wasn't quite as high on her. But each fight I see her, I get more and more in on her, and I more and more think she's a legitimate prospect. So I think this is a perfect, like, let's see who belongs kind of fight. Like, I wouldn't be surprised.
I think both of them will be up in the division.
I don't think either one will take a big loss off this fight or like a big drop in the rankings. But I think if you get a big win, especially a finish either way on this fight, like that projects you probably into the top 7 or 8. Like you're calling out something.
What I want to see happen is Macy Barber with a nice TKO. I like Macy, the future Barber. I think there's something there. I think it's marketable. I think it's funny that she's the future, even if she wins or loses. There's just something funny about it. If she was like 8-7, but the future, like something about it is just funny as shit. And I kind of want her to win, but I think Miranda Maverick, in all reality, is probably going to ragdoll her. Unanimous.
Yeah, Maverick is coming in at a -150 favorite. So
Russell fuckers, Miranda Maverick, going to constantly take her down. If I know everything if Roxanne Modafferi can dominate Macy Barber in some wrestling, I believe Miranda Maverick on this big win streak is going to be able to dominate Macy Barber in the wrestling. And that's going to be a rapo. Now, could Macy Barber start her early or get up from a takedown, knee, something sketchy? Very good chance.
She has a decent sub game. So I wonder because Roxanne Modafferi, her wrestling style is such like a wet blanket. Like she just suffocates you and just leaves you flat.
On the mat.
Miranda Maverick is way more active on the ground. So I wonder if first off, is that an advantage for her where she can dominate more? Or does that give Macy more opportunities to either get up or find a submission? You know, like I think it might give Macy a few more opportunities. And if she was training the whole camp for wrestling with Roxanne and now doing a full another camp with, preparing for Maverick, I'm hoping her ground game is getting better. because she's obviously such a young fighter that you hope there's progression in that.
I'll say one thing to Macy Barber: bring your wrestling shoes.
That's for sure.
Oh damn! We just heard me twice on here. What the fuck just happened?
I think we're good now.
There was an
that
echo.
Was just one echo.
You heard that? That was like one echo. Bring your wrestling shoes. Damn.
They wanted to let her know.
Chill. Do we hear it?
We're good.
We're Gucci.
But yeah, I want to take Macy at plus 120. I really do. But next fight, who we got?
This is a hilarious fight to me. When I saw this fight, I just laughed. This fight is absolutely hilarious. We got Damon. Wow.
Damon the Delvin.
We got Darren the Damage Elkins, 25-9 out of the USA, taking on Derek Minner, 26-11 out of the USA. This fight just makes me laugh. I just don't know why. It's like two backyard uncles just squaring it up. It's just I don't even know what to say. I'm befuddled with this fight.
Yeah.
Someone else talk.
My only two takes on this fight is, first off, there's not many nicknames that have been more earned than Darren Damage Elkins, because he brings damage and he takes, like, there's just, anytime you see Darren Elkins, there's being damage had by somebody. Like, I don't know who, I don't know when, I don't know why, but there's damage being had. Like, that's it. And then my second thing is, I'm big out, and I've been big out on Derek Minor. I hate how he spells his name. I think he just has the dumbest name. Like, just spell it fucking normal. Like, D-A-R-R-I-C-K.
You're just salty
because
this is the real Debrick.
No.
This is the real Debrick.
It's like, it's Derek.
This is the fucking real
Debrick.
And you're just salt. This is the real. If his nickname should be Derek the real Debrick Minor.
Then I'd have to fight him.
That would be so. Yeah, imagine.
Then I'll have to fight him. I mean, I'll take the L, but I got a chin.
Darren Elkins, by the way, all-time bad tattoo. The damage on his chest.
Oh, it's horrible. So bad.
The worst tattoo.
He's almost been around so long that it almost plays.
But yo, looking at this fight, I was like, this cat only got 9 losses.
Yeah.
Like, I kind of think he wins this fight. Like,
I honestly do too.
Like, let's get back on our bullshit here. I think he wins this fight.
Yeah.
Bro,
plus 130 for Darren Elkins. I'm big taking Darren Elkins.
What'd you say, Matty?
I lean the other guy, but I don't know, bro. I'm not.
Oh,
yeah.
Geez.
I feel like he's gonna sub in. He has like 20. Look at this dude's record. He has like 21 subs or something.
No way, Derek Minner. She just mining for subs.
Let me see. Yeah, 22 submissions.
Yeah, 22 against Laramie.
Yo, he got mad subs.
He does have a lot of subs.
His losses,
22.
Man. Yo, he got 22 subs. That's absurd, yo.
You don't think Darren Elkins could get caught?
Yeah, for sure. It definitely could. So, I mean, I think that's the way you do it is if you want to bet Derek Minor, you take him by subs plus
lost to the elite, bro.
That's what I'm saying. Darren Elkins, you got to, like, kill him and then kill him again.
He lost to Beans. Never mind.
Yo, I like Beans.
No, I hate Beans. Beans is trash. He was like, he told one of his opponents, like, I got COVID. Hopefully they give us a date in like 8 days. And his opponent was like, yeah, bro. Hopefully they give me a new opponent.
Yeah, that was bad. That is true.
He got clowned hard, bro.
But if you are thinking Minner, like, he's a minus 165 favorite, but plus 333 on the sub. So I think that would be the way you'd bet it if you're going to take it. But I like a little juice plus 130 on Darren Elkins.
Derek the Pinner?
Derek the Pinner?
Yeah. Derek. I don't know.
His name just stinks.
Derek
I'm telling you.
There's nothing to like. What can we? You
the
have
minor, like no. His name stinks.
It's hard. You don't know what to do, and whatever you say, it's wrong.
Exactly.
All right, let's get in the co-main event. We got Kyler Phillips, 9-1 out of the USA, taking on Julian Paiva, 20-3 out of Brazil in the men's 135 division. This got booted up to the co-main event because there was a dropout here with the female fighters that we mentioned earlier. This is actually a sick fight, in my opinion. It's a guy in Phillips who's very athletic on the feet, very rangy, a lot of kicks, a lot of wild shit. And he's taking on Paiva, who's 20-3, absolute veteran. He's probably going to try and take him down and drown him in deeper waters. But I think Phillips has the footwork to evade easy shots and entries for wrestling. Right. And I think that's what makes it a great fight. Guy has the ability to evade shots, and one guy's going to try to keep getting shots, and they're just going to clash in the middle. What do you guys have in this fight?
Yeah, I mean, I'm big on my dog, Kyler Phillips. I really hope that's someone who we hopefully interview very soon. He's right in our backyard in Arizona. He trains out here. And he kind of has that, like, even though he's not he was a wrestler in high school, but, like, he doesn't have that wrestling MMA game. Like, he has that energy to, I think, counteract a wrestler. Kind of like in a Ricky Simone type, where it's just like he's the Energizer Bunny. So if you try that shot, you got to try 50 shots. You know what I mean? Like, and he's just not going to give up after, like, oh, okay, you gave up on, you got me in the double leg, like, that's it. So I think his energy and, like you said, his footwork and speed is going to be a problem for him.
I don't know who wins. I just think it's going to be a very entertaining fight because it's going to be like a clash of styles.
Even me, who's big on Phillips, when I saw the odds, I was very surprised. Phillips is a minus 265 favorite.
Why?
I really didn't think he was going to be
I would have never thought that with just based on the records before I even did a more deep dive.
William Paiva, obviously, he got a lot of his wins in amateur. I think he's only had about...
In the regional, you mean?
The coming up to the UFC. He had a lot of experience before he showed up. Of course. Yeah, sorry, not amateur, but pre-UFC. I think he's only had about 4 or 5
fights. He's lost to Rodrigo Bontorin and Kai Kara France.
Right. And I think that Kyler Phillips is right about on the Kai Kara France.
That makes me see why the odds are this way.
But still, I feel like, I don't know. I don't want to touch it for some reason. It's not good enough to touch.
Yeah, it's a big spot for Phillips. I almost want to bet that it's an entertaining fight.
Right. That is the thing.
Will this fight be entertaining? Plus 180. Yes.
I will take that.
Yeah, I'll be the judge of that first round. Entertaining fight. Let's go. Already hit. But
we'll be real. If it's a stinker, it's a stinker.
Yeah.
But
it has to be real bad.
I will say for gambling,
you possibly give out odds. That would have to be like significant strikes if they threw enough strikes. Right. It'd have to be the over-under on strikes. Is this fight entertaining?
Or, like, it would have to be something where you'd have to be in with the sports book. Like, maybe Barstool could do it if, like, their official page put out, like, some kind of poll or something. And it's just like, hey, like, yes or no. I don't know. Like, yeah, I don't know how you would score that. But honestly, from a gambling perspective, this fight terrifies me because I'm a big Kyler Phillips fan. He's a big favorite. And I think this is going to be the last leg of almost every parlay. So if we make it this far in the night, I'm going to be shitting my pants where it's like, I got $30, but if he wins, I could win 500 or something. Like, because it's just this parlay, and I just throw it on at the end. Like,
sportsbooks should start doing that, bro. It should be the over-under on total strikes thrown, or like total strikes landed. And it should be, will this fight be entertaining or not? Because then people who say no and have the under will be rooting for boring fights, which means when they see a boring fight, they'll be excited. And, like, that creates a weird element.
It's kind of like betting the under.
Yeah, it's people who are exactly. It's you took the under. It's people who are excited in, like, a shit fight now. It makes it a different element.
Yeah, it's the one guy in the bar that's excited at the 86, 87.
Yeah, but what happens if it was hell of exciting and someone gets sparked in a second and you're just like, oh, like.
Yeah, we'd have to dive deep on that. Like, does he have finish count?
Yeah, it would be finishes, or if it didn't go the finish,
or a certain amount of strikes.
Yeah, finishes or a certain amount of strikes. Will this fight be entertaining?
Interesting. We'll propose it to the higher ups when we when
we get there. All right, but let's hop into the main event while we're talking about higher ups because we got one guy.
This is a great fight. This is such a good fight, man.
So
I think
we got Corey Sandhagen, 14-2 from the USA in the 135 main event, taking on TJ Dillashaw, 16-4. Dillashaw coming back after his suspension from EPO. Absolute dirtbag for taking it in a one-on-one fight. Or a one-on-one sport. Like, it's just crazy to me to think that you would take roids in the sport where
especially with like life-altering possibilities.
Yeah, correct. That's what I'm saying. Like, Barry Bonds taking roids in baseball when everyone else is doing it and there's players on other teams, and it's more like how many dudes on that team are taking it compared to
you hit a ball.
Yeah, like, it's a little different.
Yeah, no one's really getting hurt.
Me versus you, and I know you're not taking it, but I am. Like, that's a whole different ballgame.
Right, and that's where you'll get the argument from the baseball guys, because, like, the pitchers who weren't on it are like, well, it's an unfair advantage. And I'm like, advantage, fine. But he wasn't punching you in the head. That's a little different of a whole scenario. So I honestly lost all respect for TJ. I mean, I'm not saying he's a trash fighter or anything like that. I have no more respect.
Sandhagen?
I'm big Sandhagen.
Oh, I'm big Sandhagen.
Let's go.
Negative fucking Nilly.
Let's go.
Negative
I'm all in on
Nilly.
Dillashaw. I think he
TJ Dillashaw.
I think he wins this fight, bro. Better footwork.
Oh, I hate you for that.
And he's going to mix in a takedown to knock off the ring rust early. And because Sandhagen's been taken down in just about every one of his UFC fights.
And it hasn't mattered.
He's still fine. But he's going to mix it in, knock off some ring rust, and get back to it. I really think so.
I don't know. I think Sandhagen's going to spark him. I think his striking.
I do question Dillashaw's chin, and that's also the big question after EPO. That's the big question after EPO, because when you get hit and you have EPO, which increases your blood cell count, when you get rocked, that helps you recover so much faster. When he doesn't have that, he might just go to sleep.
And not only that,
Cody might be right that he has no chin. Cody might be exactly right. And this might be the clean version where we actually see it. So you guys, everyone could be onto something.
And he hasn't been touched like this in 2 years. So, like, I think that's the worst spot for Dillashaw is not only, like the ring rust, but, like, coming back. Like, at least when Conor came back after a 2-year, like, he got in with Cowboy, and kind of got, like, a little bit of a warm-up. Like, there's no fucking warming up with Corey Sandhagen. Like, this dude's on a mission, and he feels like he's been robbed of a title shot.
Dillashaw said he wanted to fight for the belt when he came back, but he knew that wasn't realistic because of Jan and Sterling. So So he took the number one guy. You got to respect him.
No, I respect what he's doing. You can say whatever the fuck you want, but it's a different thing of being off for 2 years. And like we've talked about it on this podcast, even over the last year and even over 2 years. The game evolves, the game moves, and I'm not saying that Dillashaw wasn't like training or like staying up with him. It's not like he's outside of his prime, but like it's different when you haven't been in there doing it, dogging. Where Corey Sandhagen's just been dogging people and he's been on a fucking mission, and I think he's now almost being disrespected. Where he's like, oh, now I gotta have an extra pit stop with this basically cheater who just shows up and says like, oh, I'm still legit, which we technically could question if you were ever legit.
Everyone's on Sandhagen.
And they used to train together, and Sandhagen used to be piecing them up in training, and then I guess TJ would be hitting them after the bell, so they already have like a little.
Yeah, we heard the same shit with Cody.
But that's true. But they were saying really Sandhagen was,
I could see a world where that happens, but I'm rocking Dillashaw because I feel like everyone's on Sandhagen. It just seems
I know. That's what
I also truly think, honestly, that Dillashaw is the best bantamweight that's not Petr Yan. I think he's better than Aljo. I think he's better than Sandhagen. I think he's better than all these guys.
I think he was, but it's one of those.
I think he still is.
I don't think I'm going to hammer Sandhagen.
How old is Dillashaw? I think he still is, dude.
The odds do scare me off a bit because Sandhagen is a -200.
Dillashaw's 35. I think he still is one of the best lightweights in the world, right behind Yan.
But I think honestly, if you ask me what's going to happen with Dillashaw, he's going to get sparked by Sandhagen, and everyone's going to be like, this cat's done. Everyone's going to be out on him. Dillashaw, EPO, all this shit. Then he's going to come back down, fight like a top 5 guy, spark him, and then get right back in the mix. And then it's like, oh shit, TJ's back. Like, I think it's going to take that fight or two for him to really get his feet back under him. Because he was such a like timing and technical fighter that I think it might take him a fight or two to really get back to that like peak timing and striking. Like, you know, I feel like everything was so precise with TJ, and not being in the ring for 2 years, I don't know what that does to you.
Well, it's like I think TJ had problems with his footwork, and I think Sandhagen got even nicer footwork.
Yeah, I think the footwork game might be like even. It's going to be a great battle, but I think the speed is a little better on Sandhagen, and that's going to be the differential.
Well, and Sandhagen's really cerebral fighter, like, and he's been doing a bunch of mental stuff, and like I think he's gonna. And DJ switches stances so much. I feel like there's an opportunity in those little zones where.
Yeah, and as we've seen with Sandhagen, all it takes is one. Like one of those head kicks, one of those rights, like he can spark him, and yeah, all it takes is that one opportunity. I don't know. I'm big in on Sandhagen. It's again, I know that's what scares me.
Because I want him to win so bad.
Yeah, that's what scares me. Is that the last 2 fights, I think
the odds should be a pick 'em almost, or maybe
I'm trying to separate the fandom from the fight because I fucking hate Dillashaw and I hate his fucking guts and I hate the fact that he cheated. But I think he's gonna win this fight.
See, yeah, and that's what's fucking my brain because like the last 2 fights, Kyler Phillips and Corey Sandhagen. My fandom is definitely seeping in, but when I even try to remove myself from that and just like pick off like analytics, I think they're the better fighters and they're the favorites. So it's all too well lined up, but my brain can't get off it.
Think about it this way. This always helps. Who do you see fighting Peter Yan?
Dillashaw. And getting sparked. And getting absolutely sparked.
I think Sandhagen's getting the chance.
I think he beats Sandhagen and Jan beats Sterling, and then it's Jan Dillashaw, and Dillashaw gets pieced, and then we see Sandhagen once he beats like Jimmy Rivera or O'Malley.
I don't know. I feel like he's been the one that's been in waiting. I think Sandhagen's gonna. He just seems like he's been on a mission, and when dudes are on a mission like this, especially up at Team Elevation, like there's something in the sauce up there. Like, and I feel like. Maybe it's also that I countered out Sandhagen a little bit on his rise. Like I didn't think he was as good as he is, and now I've just like I've flipped on it, and I'm in on this guy.
I am too.
I think we're pretty much going in circles on this. Anything else on this main event?
Nope.
Much love. We out.